This podcast is brought to you by our partisans, Shelby Von Trapp and Bobby Chowdhry. If you want to find out how to join up with Saw's Rebels, or if you want access to our bonus episodes, head over to patreon.com/andorkspod. Welcome to Andorks, the podcast where every week we'll analyze and scrutinize the Star Wars series Andor 7 minutes at a time. I'm Rusteen Honardoost.
And I'm Alex Wallenetz.
We have friends everywhere, and today we are joined by our friend, filmmaker and television writer, Nida Chowdhry. Welcome, Nida.
Hi, Nida.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Honored to have you on, Nida. You were one of the first people I really got to gush about Andor with when it was when that first season was airing, and so
I don't like this Andor gushing talk, but
Nida, can you tell us a bit about can you tell us your history with Star Wars and how did you come to find the show Andor?
So I did not grow up with Star Wars. I am maybe the franchise fans' worst nightmare because I started with Star Wars Force Awakens in 2015.
I don't think you're the only one. I'm sure a lot of people had that as their first encounter.
And it was my partner who was like, we need to watch this film. You're going to love this film. I'm not sure how he knew, but I instantly fell in love. I was like, this is amazing. And from there I was hooked. It was like Rogue One came out the next year. Wow. Lost my mind. And then I got into I finished the series, the post, so I'm
the
so
sequel
the
trilogy.
The sequel trilogy. I completed that, The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. And then we got the TV series. And it started with Mandalorian, which I was obsessed with.
Season 1 was great.
Yeah, I loved. That's really funny that you say it like that, because it makes me want to prod and ask your feelings about further.
Season 1 was great.
Oh my goodness. Was season 2 the worm season? Is that what that was? There was the underground worm.
I don't remember. To me, it was just the thing that was so exciting about it was that it was just a monster of the week setting of just we're going to have a new journey every week and it'll be sort of its own thing. And
that was season 2, right?
No, season 2 was we're just going to pour in all of the lore from the other animated shows that you haven't watched.
Okay. Got it.
And I immediately lost interest.
Then I continued on. It was Book of Boba Fett, which was audible groan for me. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, which I really enjoyed, and Acolyte, which I really enjoyed, and then it was not picked up again. And then, of course, as of late, it was Andor Season 2, which was phenomenal.
Part of me kind of wants, if we're done with Andor, to kind of do the Acolyte, because I think there's a lot of interesting stuff in the Acolyte. It doesn't fully work, but there's a lot of interesting stuff in there that I think is worth discussing.
I agree.
Rusteen looks like he did not like.
Well, I was just thinking about would we do it 7 minutes at a time?
But of all of the other shows, that's the one I feel like is worth the most discussion, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff in the Acolyte that's worth discussing.
Yeah, I agree. It's the only thing that really fully delved into the prequel lore. Andor and Ahsoka and Mandalorian are also steeped in the original trilogy or leading up to the sequel trilogy. And Acolyte is really the only one of those that kind of does that, but for the prequels, and tries to explore what the prequels kind of set up. And so
yeah, I think from a political perspective, it's the only one that tries to interrogate what was wrong with the Jedi.
Yeah.
Why were they falling apart? What was the wrong parts of their system? Doing the My Lai massacre was an interesting choice, but
Nida, you said that you hadn't seen the original or the prequels before Force Awakens. Was that an intentional choice, or was it just not something that was, in your life you had ever, experienced?
So I think the interesting thing about Star Wars is people have such personal relationships with how they were introduced to it often. It was like someone who introduced you to Star Wars, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, it was my partner who introduced me to Star Wars, and he had seen all of the Star Wars. And like, I know that he and my nephew enjoyed all of the Star Wars. But for me, the way I got introduced to the original movies was watching them with my partner, like late at night on the couch. He's like, we have to watch from the beginning. And like 7 minutes later, he's asleep. And I'm here watching like what feels like the most pixelated, slow, like, it's like at this point, this feels it's like my TikTok brain is trying to watch this film, Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm in Han Solo's like kitchen for 7 minutes and I don't know what's happening, right? So I just have not picked up on it. I need to go and watch it by myself is what it is as a filmmaker. I need to go watch it by myself. Haven't gotten around to it, so.
I'd be happy to anytime. I won't fall asleep. I promise.
So that's really,
There are opportunities, living in LA and Southern California. There are opportunities to get to see them in theaters, and I think actually next year something to look forward to is they're going to be releasing the original theatrical version of Star Wars in theaters with a wide release. So maybe save it.
That sounds like an experience. So that sounds like a great way to experience it, because I also feel like there's the loss of watching it on a television screen, Mm-hmm. So I did feel that, where I was like, this isn't how it was first experienced by people,
Well, it was there's a lot of reasons why that statement is true. This is not the original way that people watch it. It's because they've changed the movie 15 times. But
literally?
Yeah.
It's a whole can of worms, but Lucas would do these special editions that replaced a lot of the practical effects with cutting edge for the 1990s CGI, and added and changed certain things. And the reason for that is that as a filmmaker, Lucas was, pushing the envelope of what was possible with visual effects, but he was not satisfied with what they were able to accomplish at the time. And so when he's watching it, all he can see are the compromises that he had to make in order to
he's a filmmaker
out.
Like a filmmaker.
Exactly.
Except he has the power to keep re-editing his film and the resources.
Yes. and making sure that there was no legal way to watch the original version.
Really?
Yes.
When he edits it, that is the only version that now exists.
Which is why this re-release of the original theatrical version is such a special event.
Unless you have like DVDs and VHS tapes, right?
The last time that it was officially released was on Laserdisc. And then there's a DVD special edition that I think had a rip of the Laserdisc as a special feature on it. But beyond that, the original theatrical cut has never made it beyond that. And when you go to Disney Plus, you will only find the special edition available there.
I'm literally astounded.
I mean, there are a bunch of like bootleg versions where people have done it themselves and made a very high definition remake. It's the despecialized version that is basically the way of watching that everyone watches the original versions, which are very good.
Which is, I think, why Lucasfilm is releasing the original theatrical cut, because they realized people are just muscling in on our territory. We need to get in on this.
Well, I also think that George Lucas can't say no anymore.
That's also true.
He sold the rights in a very normal analogy that he used.
The analogy he made is that he basically sold Star Wars to white slavers.
Oh my goodness! What?
That's the exact quote, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't like to say that quote, but
oh my god! Yeah. What? What?
He sold his kids to quote white slavers.
I am covering my mouth right now, in shock.
But I mean, to give Lucas a little bit of credit, I mean, I made a short film last year, and every time I watch it, I wish I could do a special edition that fixes little things that are bothering me. So I at least can empathize with that.
Oh, I fully understand it. Like, there's no part of me. I'm just amazed at the fact that he's been able to do that, which it's amazing to me. That's really. It's also a cautionary tale.
Yes.
Like, it's at once, like, it's like the thing you want to do as a filmmaker is to keep fixing and re-editing. And then here's your tale of, like, what that actually looks like, having done it 15 times. But, you know, and you're like, okay, there is such a thing as just accepting the flawed version of whatever it is, you know?
I think it also got in the way of him personally, like, making other movies. Like, he basically makes the prequel, makes the originals, and then, Indiana Jones? Mm-hmm. And then, no, he doesn't even direct Indiana Jones.
No. He writes and produces it.
Yeah, but his only directed movies are THX, American Graffiti, and then...
Star Wars. Then the prequels.
One Star Wars, and then 3 prequels.
Yeah. And, I mean, in last week's episode, we were talking about THX, and, like... You watch that movie and it's so radically different than American Graffiti and Star Wars and the prequels. And he's always threatened that, like, after he sold Lucasfilm, he was going to get back into making his, like, avant-garde art films. And we've never really seen that materialize. And I really wish that we could, because I would just love to see. He's a real director. I want to see him direct. You can still do it, George. You got a beautiful head of hair. You're still young. You can do it. I
don't know how necessary the head of hair is to the process.
I just mean he's vital, and he's young and still kicking, you know?
As opposed to his last creative project being Strange Magic?
Yes.
But will he have to sell his vineyards like Francis Ford Coppola to, like, have his next film made?
I don't know. I mean,
I think he got a lot of money from those white slavers.
Yeah, he got $4 billion that he then put into the Lucas Museum that's opening up soon.
Okay.
And we'll see how that ends up going.
So
the thing about the George Lucas Museum is it's a very clear concept of what the museum's about. And not just a collection of things he likes.
Does the museum exist now?
They're
opening in September next to USC.
Yeah.
Next to US? Oh, it's going to be in LA.
Yeah. It's a big spaceship-looking.
Oh, I think I remember reading about this.
Building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art.
What episode will the grand opening line up with for you? And shall you be going?
I want to.
That
think
might
it
be a
would be
physical
fun.
detour. Should we do a
Yeah.
I think you need to.
Around?
Exactly. We'll do a literal detour to the Lucas Museum.
I think you have to.
It'll be lining up with the last episode, the second to last episode of season 1. So we can find some time to talk about it.
Figure out how we're going to do that remotely.
Well, Nida, we have a very important question we like to ask around here in honor of the late great WTF with Mark Maron. Who are your glup shittos?
Okay, so for one, I have to fully clarify what this is. What?
So it started as a post on Tumblr.
Okay.
Basically making fun of Star Wars fans for getting really excited about an obscure character reappearing in a new project.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's more a diagnosis of an illness amongst modern cinema that it's you know the term key jangling?
No.
It's just movies that just people getting excited by someone like jangling their keys like a baby. It's like these are the things that you like, and you'll get excited by them because you know them.
It's like the Easter eggs thing. Like,
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
I see.
So in the way that when they announce Ahsoka, the TV show, certain nerds are like, "Oh my God, Ahsoka's back! I can't believe it."
Okay.
Whereas your mom does not know who Ahsoka is.
No, my mom does not know who Ahsoka is. That's correct.
My go-to is if somebody showed up in a new Star Wars movie and you were embarrassed to get excited because the people that you were watching it with have no idea who they are, that's a glub shitto.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I don't think I I don't think I even have one, but I thought a glub shitto was like the creatures.
Oh, they often are creatures, yes.
Okay, but they have to be recurring to be.
No. They can show up just once.
Okay, so then
you would want them to
come
Okay,
back.
I do. I would love the doctor who tried to fix Namek. Dr. Quadpaw.
Dr. Quadpaw.
Yes.
I was a fan. I said, give me more of Dr. Quadpaw.
Excellent choice. That's a great glub shitto.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did that correctly.
Alex has a theory about
it's not a theory.
The origins.
He is a Jilsarian.
Dr.
We know that he is a Jilsarian. That is confirmed. Whether the character from the Christmas special is also a Jilsarian is my personal theory.
In the holiday special, there is a chef who is a parody of like Julia Childs.
Okay.
And she has 4 arms also.
Okay.
And is cooking up stuff.
Excellent.
And so we like to think that Dr. Quadpaw is related or the same species.
Excellent.
As
well, it's never
Gormanda.
confirmed that Dr. Quadpaw is his name. They just call him Quadpaw, which just might be a derogatory way of calling him that.
That's a good point.
Oh my God, yeah, because did we ever hear the name?
No, in the Wikipedia, it's just only known as Dr. Quadpaw, which is like, I don't know, feels racist in a way.
That's an unsanctioned naming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, we run into Dr. Junos.
Oh no.
I can make that joke. It's okay. I can make that joke.
I can't tell you what kind of doctor he was. He was a Quadpaw.
He was a Quadpaw doctor.
Like, now I need to know who named Dr. Quadpaw. And who gendered Dr. Quadpaw also? Like, do we even know? Like, what has occurred here? What is factual?
I don't know how many genders there are in Star Wars, but there's at least 3.
Okay.
To quote Joe Biden.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But yeah, Dr. Quadpaw is a perfect choice because, you know, if you're watching something else and they go to a back alley doctor for emergency medical attention and it's Dr. Quadpaw, you're going to point at the screen and be like, oh my God, it's him. And your friend sitting next to you is going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Correct.
And that's the key to a glub shitto.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Also, because in this series, there's this looming thing of who lived and who died. So I would very much be wanting to know if Dr. Quadpaw made it into the next, you know, was not unalived, you know.
Yes. He's got a very dangerous job, and I mean, helping the Aldani crew, you know, after their heist, we know how hard the Empire is going to try to find them.
He's at a small private practice in Fresno. Or on Fresno.
Yes. Yes, did you know that he's on the planet Fresno?
Oh my God, I do not want to go there. Oh my God. My like most exciting experience in Fresno was that they had, at the time that I last went, like an enormous fancy Taco Bell. Mm-hmm. And so I hope that
a cantina?
Yes.
Oh,
it literally...
We've had lots of cantina talk on this podcast.
Have you?
Yes, the hive of scum and villainy.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's a cantina. It does fit.
It was a Taco Bell cantina. That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. So it's nice to imagine Dr. Quadpaw, you know, enjoying his cantina time.
He gets the alcoholic Baja Blast after losing a patient when he needs to blow off some steam.
Exactly. But maybe he's a plastic surgeon in Fresno.
Here's a question. Is the Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Tacos a glub shitto?
Yes.
If you saw it, you'd be excited. And people go, "Why are you excited about this?" I feel like that covers it.
I think you're
not wrong.
Yes, exactly.
Bring it back to Cool Ranch. On that note, shall we?
Yes. I think now it's time to dive into our 7 minutes of Andor. because previously Andor got dumped into the prison on Narkina 5 while the Empire hunts for him back on Ferrix, and poor Bix has gotten caught in the crossfire. And we return this week as Dedra cracks her neck and circles Bix like a predator, proclaiming that she doesn't like wasting time, but you need to be careful. You pull in the net, and the easy thing, the quick thing, is to assume everything you've dragged to shore is a fish. I have colleagues who believe that's a prudent mindset, but I take a more nuanced view. And she walks out of frame as she says this, but then she pops back in to whisper into Bix's ear, "I try." And so this 7 minutes we've got today is going to be one long, torturous interrogation of our beloved Bix. And so before we really dive into it, Nida, I would love to hear just what do you think about Dedra and Bix and seeing the two of them coming together here?
Goodness. I am obsessed with Dedra, first of all. She's an incredible villain.
Yeah.
It's interesting, the first season, the first time I watched Andor, I was incredibly confused as to whether Bix was Cassian Andor's sister for a while, because she does look so much like the younger version that we're seeing in flashbacks.
Totally.
So I think on the rewatch there was like a lot less confusion, but I still think I was experiencing that for a little while where I was like, hold on, who is Bix? Bix romantic like figure in his life? And did they date? Did they
Yes.
date? They did. They had a history, right?
Yes, it would be very George Lucas for them to have dated and then later realize that they are brother and sister.
Yeah. So there was a lot of me trying to figure that out. But Dedra, Meero. So, when I was listening to previous episodes of Andorks, and I was like, people feel that she's obsessed with power because, like for on an individual level, like, and I don't feel that way about her.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like she, you have to, I have like
Denise Goff?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm trying to remember the character she plays off of throughout most of the series. The
Cyril Karn?
Cyril, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think there's like a contrast made between the two where he's like obsessed with justice.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't feel like she's obsessed with power in the sense of like her own rise to power. I think she's obsessed with also the idea of empire, the power of empire. So that was something that I was like, I feel like there's, I feel like she would be much, I mean, I don't know. I'm like trying to understand. I was struggling with that.
I think...
Go ahead, Rusteen.
Well, I was just going to say, what I think it is that Dedra is a product of the Empire. She was raised in a imperial kinderblock, and so she sees herself as a cog in the machine, and she wants to be the best, most efficient cog in that machine as possible.
And she had rebel parents, right? So she...
Criminal parents. We don't know rebel.
Okay.
But they were, they got arrested and she got basically put into imperial foster care orphanage.
Which for me, criminal was like, quote unquote criminal. Like every time, I think there were maybe 2 references to her parents, and each time I was like, were they rebels?
Maybe they were the grandson of Palpatine. We don't know.
We don't know. It's true. Whereas Cyril is very much an outsider, and he sees the Empire as a way of finding belonging and finding purpose in his life. And I think that's why he's so committed to the idea of like order. And so that's like the thing they both have in common, is that they see the Empire as the way of fulfilling their own personal and emotional journeys. But I think I agree with you that she is not a selfish person. Dedra is very much committed to the Empire. And I think here we see that she relishes in getting to be the most efficient.
Yes. Which,
person.
Yeah. I think if you were self-motivated, there would be... everything adds up with Dedra. You know, like, there's a singular focus, which is to uncover Axis, uncover this network. It's so... everything adds up. I think if someone was self-motivated, they would be changing, strategy as it fit them, you know, and their personal goals.
I think she's also a little bit obsessive-compulsive. And I think to her, the political project is like, the lack of disruption is the point of the political project. She's trying to smooth everything out. Both literally her pants, like she's constantly pulling at her pants and I think has a little bit of an obsessive tick. But she's also like, she is the Mussolini quote of like, I want the trains to run on time. She's not necessarily thinking about this as oppression or not oppression. It's a lack of friction. She wants sort of everything to be working correctly. So she's not necessarily going, I think, you know, these people are good or these people are evil. It's, I just want everything to work. And if it needs to be that people need to be repressed for people things to work, that is the ultimate goal of society, is that everything should be working the way it should.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, she's like a bloodhound who's been trained from birth to, like, hunt. And here we get to see just how good she is at it.
Certainly. And I think that efficiency is the right word with her. Like, she is, like, to her own detriment committed to efficiency in a system that is actually inefficient. And surrounded by, like, inefficient people. In high rank, you know.
That is the tragic flaw of the character, and how she ends up is that that level of efficiency is impossible. And you will keep pushing for that, and eventually you will be the thing that is inefficient compared to somebody else. And that is ultimately that's what happens to her, is she is pushed out in the desire for more efficiency. And that is her tragic flaw.
Well, she's inefficient to a point where she's no longer subordinate. That's ultimately right. Yeah. The idea was use your brain in the way we would like you to.
Exactly.
You know, and if you've now exercised beyond that, you're now entering into terrain we have not authorized. You know. But yeah, I was obsessed with that character. I was like, this is a fantastic villain. I'm obsessed.
I mean, not to rehash the premise of our show, but like, Dedra would be a great character in any TV show, let alone a Star Wars show.
Certainly.
Like that is what makes her. That's what makes Andor special. Is that these are characters who, if you stripped away all of the Star Wars bullshit, would still be incredibly compelling characters.
Yeah. Because, like, so a little bit of, like, lore that got dropped earlier in the season is that Dedra has been brought into the ISB from their enforcement division. And so I think in this scene, we're seeing her getting to use, like, this is her in her element, this interrogation. Like, she has been on the front lines of enforcing the Empire's will on the galaxy. And now she's getting to do that on behalf of the ISB. And she's clearly relishing it. The way she cracks her neck at the start of this. Like,
chilling.
She's getting back to work.
Chilling. Yes. Yeah. Yes. The other thing about this was, like, not too much time has occurred. I mean, they have not been interrogating her for days and nights.
No, this is day one. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of it.
Like, the way that she's describing this is like, she's saying that, you know, she kind of implies that, you know, this is how it could go, but also Mr. Sociopath here is already plugging in his devices. Like, we have never turned off the torture device. Like, it's been humming. So it was...
it takes a lot of prep, okay?
Yeah, but as in, like, we were never really taking the questioning part of this too seriously, you know? Like, that was never really the plan. The plan was, hey, let's use our fun torture device.
Yeah, I mean, even if Bix was like, here's all the information I know, Dedra would have no reason to believe that she's still not hiding something.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because at the start of the scene, she lays out she basically lays out her syllabus of what this interrogation is going to look like.
Correct.
You're going to tell us everything we want to know about you're going to tell us everything we want to know about this mysterious buyer of yours, and hopefully you'll cooperate without intervention. Failing that, we have Dr. Gorst, who has developed a unique interview system some of us are very excited about.
Okay, before we get too far on this scene, I would be remiss. I'm gonna bring it up now because otherwise I'm gonna keep wanting to bring it up. This scene is very similar to the torture scene in Spaceballs, which I don't think either of you have seen.
I've seen Spaceballs, but it's been like a decade since
it's
I've
a scene where they bring in a doctor to torture the princess to give them information, or rather to torture her to get the king to give the information. And the threat is they bring in this like evil doctor, but all the doctor is threatening to do is to turn her nose to her pre-nose job nose.
Oh my god!
And that's what gets her to break. And it is. I sort of can't remember. It's not really parodying a scene that exists in the original Star Wars trilogy.
Leia gets tortured by Tarkin.
A little
Vader,
bit, but they don't threaten. They don't do. Yeah, it reminds me a lot more of this scene than it does the Star Wars scene. Anyway, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring that up. We can now move past it.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yes.
But yes, it feels it's like clearly disingenuous of an interrogation. This is not a conversation. This is not a questioning. This is a full-on, we shall be torturing you. In fact, I mean, they've timed when Bix was brought into the room to overlap with Salman Pak being his dead, tortured body being dragged out of the room.
Yeah.
You know, and we all know that Bix has a relationship with that family. You know, and so there's nothing like coincidental about it. It's all by design, including that Dr. Gorst, is that his?
Yeah.
Dr. Gorst is still in this room. You can hear the frequencies of his machine on, you know, and it's meant to be like, we're going to be doing this the hard way. Like, there was never going to be an easy way.
Yeah, she organized that as like a bit of foreshadowing of like, this is establishing the threat of what they're going to do to her.
Yeah.
Because at the outset of the scene, she says that they have Salman Pak, but for a man with very little actual rebellious activity on his resume, he was remarkably resistant, which only meant that they needed to have a longer session, and before you know it, it's the morning. In the end, it was a very poor decision on his part. The ISB got everything they want, and quite frankly, it seems hardly worth the price he's paid. And that price he's paid is the catatonic state that Bix saw him at the end of the last episode.
Yeah, he's not fully dead yet, but he is in the, to quote The Princess Bride, he's mostly dead.
Mostly dead, okay.
Yes.
So the other thing that when we see him in that catatonic, mostly dead state, and it's looming within this conversation, within minutes, we're firing up the torture machine, you know? And so I sat there wondering, how is she supposed to get information out after this torture? That's the thing that's boggling me. Like, how will she speak, you know? Because of how damaging this torture is.
I think that, because they talk about in the ensuing 7 minutes, they talk about how it's multiple sessions that cause the most damage. So it's almost, I see it as like a waterboarding.
Okay.
Where you're not answering the questions while the water is being poured on your face. It's happening in between those.
Yeah.
And they are keeping track of what answers you're giving each time to help kind of triangulate what the truth is.
And I think,
so that way you're not just telling them what you think they want to hear.
And I think the idea is that when you've given them all the information, they will just keep pushing in case there's more. So they will always fry you at the end because they'll always be like, well, maybe one more thing will come out, but worse comes to worse. You know, they end up awful, but we'll maybe get one more piece of information. We don't really care what happens to them afterwards.
Yeah, so in the same way that the torture is not optional here, neither will the repeated sessions be optional. Like, it shall occur. You shall be experiencing repeated torture sessions. Right? Like, I think that's what's being promised here.
Absolutely. Because at this point, Dedra lays out all of the information that they got from Pak thanks to this torture that he's endured. They learned that Pak attended a separatist meeting on the planet Jandora, where he met a woman who said if he was serious about politics, he might want to act as a liaison for Ferrix, and she gave him a radio unit in the hopes of using Ferrix's unique commercial position to acquire stolen Imperial equipment. And that is like a little bit of lore that never really clicked with me until I was rewatching it for this episode. One being that Salman was attending a separatist meeting who are the bad guys in the prequels. But in the opening crawl of episode 3, it talks about how there are heroes on both sides of that conflict because Palpatine has engineered this, civil war in order to bring about the rise of the Galactic Empire. And so I think it's interesting that Clea, who must be the woman who met Salman, is attending these meetings looking for people in order to recruit. And the final part is that
Ferrix... It could also be Cinta.
It could be Cinta. It could be Vel. Actually, you're right. You're totally right. It could be any of those people. For sure.
So is it... Does Salman, does Luthen's team approach Salman first and then Bix gets involved?
Yeah. And they get into that because they talk about how Dedra basically lays out a series of questions of like, did you know Salman Pak was paid to keep that radio alive? Did you know you were the only one to use it? Were you aware that the buyer, your contact, met Pak only once before being turned over to you? And so...
Okay, so the buyer, Luthen, has met Salman once.
Only once.
And then Bix has met him 6 times, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
We're also believing that Dedra is telling Bix 100% the truth. Which she might not be. She might be.
That's also true.
She might be conflating things just to make a better narrative that makes Bix feel more lied to.
Mm-hmm.
If Bix is meant to feel that she's been, lied to, and then she is less likely to want to defend Salman.
I see.
Yeah, that's also true. Because here, Dedra asks the most important question: are you a fish or are you a thief? Seems a shame to end up on the carving board if your motivation is only money. You don't seem like a troublemaker. You're a small business owner who started a business that operated for 3 years in a disadvantaged community. Like, you're a small business owner. Why would you be a rebel? She's trying to relate to Dedra in this moment, or she's trying to relate to Bix in this moment, but by appealing to maybe a more craven side of her that she thinks might be there.
There's a part of me during this scene, I was wondering about whether, at the end of the day, she's not sure what information Bix would give that would be valid to begin with, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how honest would she be? She's a very loyal person. Sure, repeated torturings can bring out information, right? But at the end, it feels as though this is really just, she's bait. She's bait to bring Cassian to the surface, Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter what Bix says. It literally, and she says, it doesn't matter. You won't believe me no matter what I say. Will you?
Yeah.
Right?
The news of that Bix has been tortured, they're hoping will get to Cassian.
Right? Like,
not to get to the next episode, but like if Salman is hung up in the public square, that's not going to bring Cassian back. But Bix
will.
Yeah. Yes.
Certainly. Right? Like that is someone he would come back to save. So at the end of the day, this also just feels like theater. I mean, she is theatrical, Dedra.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout this, brilliantly performed her like chilling speech to her as she circles her, whispers in one ear, cracks her neck, you know? Like, it really does feel like perfectly performative and not in any way meant to like actually find something useful.
Yeah, it's such a well delivered monologue, both diegetically and non-diegetically.
Yeah.
Like, on the one hand, I think the reason people kind of bristle against monologues sometimes is because they can feel unnatural. Like, people don't really talk like that. You don't need to deliver all that information to somebody. They probably know all of it in a monologue a lot of the times. But here, even though she's probably saying some stuff that Bix already knows, that's intentional. She's doing that in order to scare you. And all of that stuff, like cracking her neck, walking behind her, and then leaning down and whispering into her ear, it's all done to knock Bix off balance and make her afraid. And by extension, it scares the shit out of us, too.
Yes, totally. And I think just the chilling performance delivered by Denise Gough. Denise Gough. I mean, she has openly stated that she's a survivor of child abuse. And so I think there's so much to her performance as Dedra. And here, for me, is one of the places where it, you know, I am like literally shaking in my boots.
Yeah, because like for the season leading up to this, we've been watching her fighting against Blevin, you know, the other Imperial officer. And every time she fights him and gets a win, it's almost like a little bit of like a fuck yeah, you show that guy moment.
Yes.
But now the person on the other side of the table is not another ISB officer. It's Bix.
Yes.
It's another character that we love.
Frustration that she's had, all the pent-up frustration she's had against Blevin, she can now take out on this defenseless woman.
Exactly. And so we've just been waiting to see her get to do that to somebody, and now it's
amazing. Fixed. She's like, again, just the sheer force of the actress behind the work, right? Like, she has gotten me to root for this like Imperial officer like no other, you know? Like, I literally was like, yeah, go Dedra, you efficiency machine, you know? Like, show all these inefficient cogs. And like the way, like it's really interesting that you're saying, you mentioned that this is her roots, that she came from this type of interrogating and torture. Mm-hmm. Too. So we're seeing her in her previous element. It's super fascinating.
I want to go back to the phrase she used, the metaphor of the fish and the thief.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's some really good writing. It reminded me a lot of, it feels, I guess, it was 3 months ago on the Andorks timeline, but 2 episodes ago on the Andor timeline, when Mon uses the analogy of the stone in the hand, you don't notice the knife at your throat, which both of these feel like they are phrases that have existed for 600 years in our world. They don't exist in our world, but they sound like things that have been around forever. Yeah. They sound like aphorisms that are really lived in, and it's sort of some really good writing to come up with those things that sound like they are, you know, fake things that have just sort of become phrases that everybody knows.
Yes.
I don't know exactly. I'm sure there's some word for that, but it's a really good use of that.
Absolutely.
Dedra tells Bix at this point that she would prefer to have a conversation than put Dr. Gorst back to work.
Would she really prefer that?
Yeah.
Again, I think everything in this conversation is her saying words that she means 0%, which is part of what is so disturbing about her, you know? Like, because it's like just a room full of sociopathy, you know, like it's just on her end, on his end. It's super interesting because she's so controlled here, and we contrast it from the moment where I think of this scene makes me jump to later when we have unrest on Rick's Road, and she is kind of like caught in a stampede and people are throwing things at her, and how much she loses it in that moment. You know, like, it's like it makes me wonder, like, what is her actual experience as a soldier, you know? Like, it doesn't feel like she has been caught in, like, any type of battle before. Like,
yeah, I don't think she has any on the ground experience. It's always been interrogation, and then this. She's always, it's the white collar part of fascism, not the.
Yes, and same with this Dr. Gorsh. Like, they are that white collar. They have never actually been outside of a controlled setting where they are, like, in full power, full physical power over the people that they are oppressing.
Nor are they ever really dealing with people who are a physical threat to them.
Yes, absolutely.
They're always in control of the dynamic around them.
Yes, which is what feels so theatrical and jokey about the scene to me, like in a purposeful way, where I'm like, this does feel like it feels like it is performative power. Like, she would not do well, like, in having walked into a bar and Bix is there and she doesn't have a weapon, she would be destroyed. You know?
She's practiced this fisher or thief metaphor in the mirror numerous times to make sure she gets it out right. Yeah. That's the... Whew. Are you a fish or a thief? Fuck, thief. Yeah.
Yeah, and now 3 minutes into this monologue and 40 minutes into our episode of Andorks, Bix finally speaks here. And she asks, "Your ISB, aren't you the worst of the worst?" And then Bix jokes that Dedra seems to be enjoying this. And Dedra smiles and says that Bix is going to give her all the answers that she seeks. "You're going to tell me all about Cassian Andor and his relationship with the buyer." Bix answers, saying they don't have a relationship. And then Dedra demands a full accounting of everything that Bix has stolen from the Empire. And this is where Bix slips, because she says she doesn't know the buyer, but Dedra reveals that Pac says she has met with the buyer on at least six face-to-face meetings. He and Andor blowing up buildings and killing security guards. You're injured trying to warn them. Your coworker is killed trying to win your freedom. Andor and the buyer escape together. Sounds to me like a nest of relationships. And at that moment where Bix talks, she kind of puffs up her chest and she holds her chin high and puts on a brave face that, like, I know who you are. I know you think you're scaring me, but I'm going to stand up to you. But when Dedra catches her in this lie about her relationship with Luthen and reveals just how much she knows about it, Bix deflates. And she puts her head down and she can't make eye contact anymore. Because I think she's just in that moment realizing how fucked she is. That, like, they know what they're looking for. They're not just grabbing her out of the dark, hoping to get, something out of her. Dedra knows exactly the answers that she wants. And Bix, I think in this moment, knows that she's going to end up telling them one way or the other. But how long can she fight?
This is the heartbreaking thing about this scene, is we are witnessing the last moments of Bix as we have come to know her, Wow. After this, she will become someone that is so changed from this torture, Yeah. She will never be able to return back to who she was, or who she actively is in this moment. Yeah. So it's like we are saying goodbye to the Bix we knew. Cassian will not meet that person again. Who he meets will be somebody post-torture, Yeah. And she is literally what we watch in the rest of season 1 and 2 is her dealing with the repercussions of this what is about to happen after. Literally, we will, that's, you know, it's completely heartbreaking because I wonder how much of it is occurring to her in this moment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think in this moment she knows that there's no going back to the way things used to be. Like, she's been working for Luthen for a while now, and I think she knew the risk of that. She knew that working against the Empire is going to bring, you know, pain and heartbreak down the line, but here it is staring her in the face, and it's Dedra.
And having friends and being loyal to friends is what in this moment is what she's facing. Like, if she was somebody who was like really there for self-interest, you know, she was conducting her business out of self-interest, but she has loyalties. She cares about people in Ferrix. This is her family.
I mean, it's been months ago for us, but Bix's boyfriend just got killed by the Empire a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago. I can't remember. Like, this is
a couple months ago, yeah.
So it's still something that's very close to her, and she's realizing how much is going into it. I want to go back a little bit because I think the reveal that why Luthen wanted to have a point of on Ferrix. On Ferrix, which is something that we talked a lot about on our first few episodes, of Ferrix being this really crucial point between the Empire taking all of this old, Republic materials and converting it into new materials, and how important that is as an industrial point to have connections around. And I think that is such a really interesting thing. I think we kind of, in the story, we're like, oh, we're there because we need him to meet Cassian. But the context of that, and sort of the reminder of how wide and how probably absurd, like, if there's a map in Luthen's office somewhere of all of the places where they have spies, that is a huge map where they are probably having these things running in the background in hundreds of places. And it sort of boggles your mind of how many of these various, I don't even know what you call them, but, you know, intellectual drop sites they have going on everywhere.
Yeah, because she says Ferrix's unique commercial position is what drew Luthen there. And I think what she's talking about is that Ferrix, under Pre-Mor control, means that they have access to Imperial technology, but without Imperial oversight, you know? Like, it's this unique little loophole in the galaxy that is saying to Luthen that, like, we can get access to stolen Imperial technology without the Empire ever knowing about it. And it's scrappers like Bix who are going to help enable that. But now the Empire has, you know, become privy to this, and they have battened down the hatches and put the net over Ferrix, and now they caught Bix. And at this point, Bix stops answering Dedra's questions, and Dedra leans over to issue a final warning. The very worst thing you can do right now is bore me. And Bix then asks her own question. You're not going to believe me anyway, are you? And Dedra smiles and says, no, I suppose not. And then she leaves Bix with the 5 words no one wants to hear. She's all yours, Dr. Gorst.
I think
I'm sure it's to be very nice. It's going to be very nice next week, yeah.
His smile when he turns back and she introduces him in the room is just so chilling.
Yes, we're going to have a lot to say about Dr. Gorst in an upcoming episode, but shout out to Joshua James, the actor who plays him.
He seems very nice. I don't know, but what's the concern?
Yeah, when she says Dr. Gorst, he like turns over and gives a little smile and a wave, like, hi, that's me.
Yeah, just every dentist.
Yes.
As they like fire up their drill, that they will be like, you know, and I'm like, oh God.
Raise your hand if this hurts.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
He's Steve Martin, Little Shop of Horrors.
It's giving dentist. Yes. Yeah.
Sorry to reference a musical, Rusteen.
I love Little Shop of Horrors. Okay. You can reference Little Shop anytime you want.
Rusteen hates musicals. That's the.
I just am not a musical person.
They are a polarizing medium. I am on the side where I grew up watching Bollywood musicals, so they are all musicals. We never called it a musical because that's just what a movie is. It is a musical. It is like saying chai tea. A movie doesn't have 7 full-on songs in it? Like, that's what a movie is, isn't it?
I mean, that's what Hollywood was for the first 30 years. It's like you get the whole thing. You get the music, you get the action, you get everything. We got to do everything we can to get you to pay your 50 cents.
Correct. And being introduced to Singing in the Rain and going up on Bollywood is what cemented why I am here right now. I think when Dedra says the very worst thing you can do right now is bore me, I wanted to scream at the TV. I was like, oh my God, don't bore her, Bix. Don't bore her. It's the control on her words. It's just the precision of how sinister her words are. I was like, please say something. It's not gonna go well for you.
I mean, she's a cat with a mouse that she's trapped, and you're just yelling at your cat, just kill the mouse already. Just stop torturing it. This is cruel. Just kill the mouse.
Yeah,
she's having too much fun with it.
Certainly. I mean,
she's not bored. She's having fun.
Yeah, and it's true. When she says it looks like you're enjoying this, it is. She is enjoying this.
Absolutely.
Certainly, because I think we can easily think of the Dr. Gorse as the one enjoying this, but she is fully the one. First of all, why is Dr. Gorse, why is he there? Who has authorized him to be there? Who has brought him in for this? It's her.
Mm-hmm.
I think going back to our earlier conversation of what is Dedra's ideology, I think if you are somebody who is this deeply repressed and you have some, sadist tendencies, the idea that your sadism is part of a bigger political project, that your sadism is now appreciated and you get to use that for, in your minds, the greater good, really benefits Dedra personally. Of the idea of being a sadist is actually helping build the empire. That's to her advantage, and that is why she is a good soldier in the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the beginning of this, she said she doesn't like wasting time.
Yes.
But this isn't a waste of time to her.
Yeah.
Toying with Bix is not a waste of time. This is what she fucking lives for. This is the Super Bowl for Dedra.
Yeah.
That I finally have someone.
This is Casual Friday.
Who has seen the. Yeah. This is the closest she's ever gotten to catching Luthen, and she is relishing in this moment. But also, she is, I think, overplaying her hand a little bit. I think showing Bix Salman post-torture and telling her about how hard Salman fought back and how little information he gave up is also partially inspiring Bix to fight back too. Seeing if Salman fought that hard and he didn't have anything, and I have all this information, now Bix has to fight even harder too.
Well, I think the idea is, again, I feel that this is meant to be drawn out. We are meant for this torture to take days. It is meant for this information of her having been captured to reach people, and it is meant to draw out Cassian Andor. It's just that the other heartbreaking part of this scene, it's so difficult. The really tough part watching this, I remember the first time, was feeling like dying inside, thinking that Cassian is trapped inside of a prison at this very moment and has no access to this information. So Bix is going to be tortured endlessly, and it is to try to draw him out, but he cannot get to this information. That is just
and neither can Dedra. At the beginning of all this, she said, my colleagues put out the net and they think everything they got is a fish.
Yeah.
And they pulled in Andor and they think he's a fish, but they don't know he's a thief. And now here Dedra has Bix and she can see that she's a thief, but she can't find the one that she actually wants. She's looking for a needle in the haystack.
Yeah.
And the Empire is just dumping hay on top of hay on top of hay and making it even harder for her. That's the cruel irony of all of this.
Sorry, every time you say it's a fish, all I can think about is the Parker Posey scene in Best in Show. Which is like, that's not a bear, this is a fish. And that's...
Parker Posey should show up in
she'd be so great.
I want that to happen.
Edie's younger sister?
Ooh. Cyril's aunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
So that would be an excellent casting for Cyril's aunt.
That honestly, Parker Posey is someone that
Cyril's
could have been in a
young
Star Wars movie.
Cyril's cousin.
Especially her Best in Show character is definitely Cyril's cousin.
Yes.
We were getting calf across the street from the Nether Street in Coruscant, and we were getting the same calf.
Do we have any final thoughts on Dedra and Bix? We've been talking about them for an hour, but I feel like we can do this forever.
No, it's just like goodbye, Bix.
Well, we got a little bit left in our weird 7-minute segment. We got a little amuse bouche at the end, just to cleanse
a little
the palate.
Dessert.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So we go back to Narkina 5, where Cassian's team has realized that Table 3 is getting a new replacement of we never found out what happened to the previous guy, right?
Oh no, we did.
Did he die? I can't remember now.
He committed suicide.
Oh right, that's the guy. Oh, I never put the. Okay, yes, that.
Yeah. In the end of the last episode, somebody, commits self-harm.
Yes.
On the floor.
Unalive themselves.
Unalive themselves, and now their table is down a man.
Which sucks, but does also means that they are already up on the rankings and have the chance to win the greatest prize of all, which is tasting their food.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so it's their table that loses somebody?
The other table loses their somebody.
The other table,
and
that's
they're getting
right.
a replacement today, so if they're already up a little bit, and knowing that they have an advantage, they can get more things done.
I see.
And
Okay.
win the race.
Yes, except for their elderly teammate is really struggling and facing increasing health issues.
Yeah, Olaf's doing great physically.
Yeah.
He's like Jordan Peterson, where he seems to have every disease at the same time.
So devastating to watch.
Poor Olaf.
Excellent acting.
Also, I've said before, I'll say it again, just like a great face for Star Wars. Just like a face
Really?
that tells you everything about the character. When you have very little time to explore the character's backstory, casting like that, where you just know exactly the guy's story based off their face, is such good acting. Same with Gorst. Like, when you don't have the time for the background, when you have that perfect casting, it tells you everything that you need to know about that character.
There's such a choice to have someone who's clearly so, not physically fit. He's so elderly. It's such a, it's throwing it in all the other prisoners' faces. The lack of, obviously it's a prison, obviously it's the Empire, obviously they don't care about you, right? But it's another to basically keep this person until his last breath on this floor, Mm-hmm. It is like sending a message throughout to everyone on that floor. You will be here till you die.
Yeah.
You
would think, if they cared a little bit, it would actually be to their advantage to show some kindness to Olaf.
Yeah.
To have people work harder to be like, okay, there is actually an out path here. If you do, they will take care of you in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't give a shit. It would be a thing. It would be maybe a little bit more efficient to show that kindness, but in the sake of ruthlessness, it's not even worth the time. I mean, Cassian will say something next episode along those lines, but it's one of those things where, if you actually were considerate, you'd probably get a better rate of return.
Yeah.
But the Empire doesn't care.
Yeah.
The Empire doesn't need that. They're getting everything they need out of these people without providing that consideration. So why would they bother?
Well, they're not. They're not. The answer is just we need more prisoners.
Yeah.
And it's it would have been a better masking of their strategy if they had taken care of him, right? Like this is partly what reveals like their plan, like the plan that nobody leaves, leaves, you know. Yeah, goodness.
But yeah, it reminds me, not that this is very comparable, but it reminds me sort of the argument that like unions are good for businesses because the workers have insights of how they will be doing better work. If you provide us these things, we will actually make you more money. Unions are not an argument against capitalism. They are an argument of we can actually make you more efficient if you give us these benefits. And to the point of like, if you could just do a little bit for him, like you said, they would get some better results, but that's not to the empire doesn't actually have that long-term thinking. Again, if they did, then maybe they would have survived. But instead, their answer is just throw more prisoners at it. You know, just hire more people, bring in more people, which is not good business, but ends up with, we see plenty of parallels of that today, of just we're going to hire more money and throw more money at it, but does not actually lead to a better product. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of Narkina 5 enshittification happening. But yeah, on that note, casting suggests that they reorder their sort of production line so Olaf has some easier work. Kino comes by to sort of see what's going on and asks whose idea was that to reorder it. And Cassian defers and says it was not Taiga. Is it Taiga?
Taga.
I thought. Yeah, those Taga. And says it was Taga's idea. And Taga's like, what? No, it wasn't. And Kino's like, that was a really good idea. And Taga's like, oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. And it's such a good example of Cassian slowly manipulating people.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to just endear him to like him, that he's given him a favor, so now he's going to ask for a favor in return. And just it's a small, we sort of see Cassian as this sort of, we don't get to see him as sort of the not mastermind, but a really sweet talker. We know that that's sort of in his history, but this is a really good example of a small thing that just endears him to somebody else that he can use in the future.
Yeah, he lies to Kino about swapping with Olaf, which I think he partly does out of empathy, and also partly because he's taking on just like more of a leadership role in Narkina as he's kind of adjusted to being here. But I also think that he kind of doesn't want to have Kino know that he's trying to win. I think he wants Kino to still think of him as a bit of the new guy, to not show how observant he is about what's kind of going on the floor.
Yeah.
So that way Kino doesn't suspect him of having ulterior motives.
Yes.
When throughout this episode, he will try to recruit him onto his side.
Yes.
I think it's also showing a little bit of what will come up next episode, is that in the time that we've last sort of seen Cassian, he's developed more of a rapport with Kino, where they're kind of joking around, where he's like, always tomorrow. And, Kino gives him a face of, yeah, shut up. There is more of a rapport where he's not just, Kino's not yelling at him the way was when Kino first appeared in Cassian's life. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we get, I would say, Olaf is some real 1 week from retirement energy when Kino asks how many days he has left, shifts he has left, and it's 41. And so he goes, oh, you're the short man, which means that you've got the least time to go, but it's some real, yeah. If Andor,
the shortest.
If Andor has a lot of subtlety in where their plots are going sometimes, this is a big retiree going on.
Yeah, poor Olaf. You can basically see the Grim Reaper, like, hanging out in the corners of the frame.
Oh, certainly.
Every time Olaf is there.
I mean, certainly.
He just Olaf talking about the boat he'll be going on with his wife and kids, and
sail away.
He's got a great
sail away.
He's got his timeshare. He's ready to retire.
I just want to say too how insane it is that this is season 1, episode 9, in the sense that like up till this point, Andor season 1 has delivered us so much story that I think this, like, when Andor came out, I think that's what was so refreshing about it, in addition to its brilliant storytelling, in addition to everything that's wonderful about it, is before this, we had been getting all these stretched out series where I could hardly tell you what story has taken place, even throughout a season. But here, by now, we've had 3 different things occur. We've had Andor getting out of Ferrix. We've had the garrison at Aldhani, broken into, and we're in this prison arc we're midway through it. And I'm like, I cannot believe how much they have packed in. Like, this would be season 5 of another series, like the season 5 finale.
A lesser TV show, they would drag this one arc out to 9 episodes.
Literally, if we were lucky to even get that much story in a season.
The season would end with them saying, okay, now we're going to do the prison break.
Yes.
It's the fucking Surf... We've talked about Surf Dracula on this podcast, right?
Many times.
Nida, do you know the Surf Dracula tweet?
I don't.
So it's back in the day, if you did a TV show called Surf Dracula, you'd see that fool surfing every week in new adventures. But in the streaming era, the entire first season got to be a long-ass flashback to how he got the surfboard until you finally get to see him surf for 5 minutes in the finale.
That's exactly how the entire state of television, And so I was like, I remember when Andor, I was like, this is what television is supposed to be. This is brilliant. It was just everything.
And that was the beauty of the show coming out week to week. Was I remember watching the first 3 episodes in one go and being like, okay, so like this whole show is going to be Andor and Luthen working together to enact the rebellion, right? But then in episode 4, he fucking drops Andor off on this remote planet and then leaves.
Yes.
I think we're just like, whoa, wait a minute. Now there's a whole new cast of people.
Yeah.
This must be the crew that Andor is going to go. Okay, so they're going to go on a bank heist. That's what the show is going to be.
Yeah.
The whole season's going to be them preparing to raid the the armory. And then 2 more episodes go by and wait, they're fucking doing it.
Yes.
Holy shit. Now all these people are dead. Wait, I thought this was the cast of the show.
Yes.
And then another episode goes by and now Andor's in prison.
Yes.
And it's like, well, this must be what the whole show is going to be now.
Oh,
the rest
but
of the season
no,
must
we're
be him
going
in
to
prison.
break out and we're going to have a whole planet erupt in rebellion,
Yes. And then we're going to end with Les Mis.
Yeah, exactly. And then that still won't be what, where season 2 will just go elsewhere,
Yeah.
I mean, we can assume that's what you were talking about, Rusteen, in those first couple of episodes. My guess is that's what the Stephen Schiff pitch for the show was.
Exactly.
It was a week to, he comes from the Americans, let's do a little spy thing every week and sort of build up there. And I probably would have enjoyed that show too, because I enjoyed the Americans, but this is such a more chock full of things. I don't know if I'd be doing a podcast about that show, but I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, what Gilroy said was you can only watch them storm the castle so many times.
Yeah.
At a certain point, the dramatic engine of that show runs out. And so what we instead have is a show that feels like, in the same way that Andor and Rogue One are this kind of baton pass through the rebellion, every couple of episode the show swaps its engine out for a new engine, and that just keeps it going against all odds.
It actually didn't even hit me in the 8 hours that we were talking about it, but Stephen Schiff's last episode the previous episode was announcement, or 2 episodes 2 episodes was announcement, right?
Yeah, 2.
Is the most Americans plot of the entire show. It is just that is all of the spy stuff in one episode, really chock full of it, of liaisons and meeting about spies and stuff like that. It makes sense that is the Stephen Schiff episode. It's hitting me now, which I should have hit me before.
I think we talked about that then.
So
Yeah.
Cut this out.
It was months ago,
yes.
So I don't blame you for forgetting. But yeah, that is the end of our 7 minutes here. We got a whole smorgasbord of Dedra and Bix, and a little aperitif of Cassian on Narkina.
I mean, before we end, I wanted to shout out one of my favorite Reddit comments of all Andor time.
Okay.
It was Dead Snark saying Vader and Luthen clearly go to the same billowing cloak emporium on Coruscant. Yeah. The laugh that I laughed.
Them and George Costanza's father, they all go to the same cloak guy.
Yes, same billowing cloak emporium. So good.
Yes. To imagine what Luthen would say if he saw Darth Vader.
Yes. Oh, to imagine that meeting. Mm-hmm. I would like to see that.
Maybe
we will get an AI version of that. It will happen. I'm sorry to say
God.
that it will.
I would have loved to see a scene of, in a different world where Andor had more time, you could imagine a scene with Darth Vader having a more logistical conversation.
Yeah.
Like, we don't see Darth Vader get to talk in conversations that much, but there's no reason to not believe that he is not as strategically minded or as part of these minutiae conversations as anybody else.
I mean, yeah, Dedra or Partagats or Blevin could just as easily be one of the guys sitting around a table when Vader chokes one of their colleagues out for, disappointing him, The fact that all of these people exist together at the same time is the juice of the show.
It would be nice to sort of see, like, Anakin as, like, we don't get to see a lot of old Anakin's personality, and I think that's a really interesting place for Star Wars to go. Of like, what does the actual older Darth Vader look like? Like, is he fully devout, or do we just see him at his bad moments, and in between he is more of a strategic figure? I think it's sort of a open question about the original series
that I have not seen.
Unless there's extra lore about that.
I mean, I haven't read these yet, but there are the Vader comics by Kieran Gillen that I've heard are excellent. They're covering them on a more civilized age
that's one where
now.
They pretend to kill Watto?
No, I think those are later Vader comics. Yeah. These came out, I think, in the wake of Force Awakens. Came out after that. So they're a little older now. But I think those delve into Vader's mindset and worldview, after the original or after the prequels.
Adding it to the list of things to buy.
Exactly. But yeah, that's the end of our 7 minutes today, Nida. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'd love to have you back. Is there anything in particular you'd like to come back for in season 2?
Oh my goodness.
You only really got to talk about Dedra and Bix today, so you have a whole lot of characters to get to choose from.
You know what? Mon Mothma's speech. Welcome to the rebellion.
Calling it now.
Yeah, calling it now. Mon Mothma's, that's what I would love to come back for.
I'm putting it in the spreadsheet. It's yours.
This is like my joke. The joke return would be for just the back and forth of her dancing while Andor loses yet another friend. Yeah. That dance and that editing sequence is like just,
We could probably do that 1 minute at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally, it was like, this is somehow my favorite thing that has happened, like just this musical number, and just the repeated intercutting. Like, I was just and the full length of the song and the full length of Mon Mothma dancing. And, I was like, this is too much for me and I love it.
I think the Mon Mothma scene is such a good example of, people ask, like, what is a TV and what is a movie?
Yeah.
And I think being able to just, like, have Mon Mothma have her own little, just, like, feeling herself on the dance floor thing is such a good example of what TV can do that maybe doesn't work in a movie that you have to cut. But a TV show gives you that space to explore that. And I think that's one of the things that TV can do really well, of just, like, we can take 5 minutes to just have a character vibe out.
Mm-hmm.
Have the character literally go drink off the fact that she realized that her friend is going to get murdered because of her. While
she's selling her daughter off.
Yes, exactly.
For money.
Yes, and then also it just being a really damn good song. Like, it's like, it's just like, wow.
What would be the millennial equivalent of that? song would be like Dance Yourself Clean by LCD Sound System. I feel like that's the right vibe.
Certainly.
Or The Killers.
Yeah.
You know?
Mr. Brightside a little too cliche.
Yeah, at the height of like a recession, you know, like you're just like, what are you trying to forget right now? You know, like it's excellent. But that would be my joke return. But I would love to return for her speech.
All right, we've got it on the spreadsheet.
Maybe we'll add as a Patreon of let's do a March Madness of what song would be funniest for.
Do some fan cam edits with different songs.
Excellent. Any Pitbull song.
Nida, do you have anything you'd like to plug, and where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Nida Chowdhry. I will be having my feature film Anxious released online somewhere in this hellscape in the next few months.
Awesome.
Yes.
I loved Anxious. It was so great. I can't wait for more people to get to see it.
Thank you so much. And thank you
we'll
so
have a
much
link to it.
for making this brilliant podcast.
Oh, you flatter us. Your check's in the mail.
Do you want to make the pitch of what Anxious is, the little log line?
Sure. Anxious is my Eternal Sunshine inspired debut feature film. It's about a woman named Ruby who has an anxiety attack. She trips down the rabbit hole of her mind where she meets mean girl versions of herself that take over her life.
That must be so interesting to have an experience with anxiety. I have no understanding of what it's like to be an anxious person.
None of the people on this podcast or the listeners have any experience with it. It was definitely an external research I had to do for years of just talking to people and trying to understand what is anxiety. I don't know.
Actually, we probably have listeners of this podcast who were born after Eternal Sunshine coming out.
Oh no! Yes, great.
If any of our listeners came out after were born after 2004, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. But also, it's one of the greatest films, at least for me, of all time. So
no, it's
please
one of the
watch
films that
it.
made me want to go into movies.
That's right. It's so beautiful and brilliant, and also, speaking of scores, brilliant. Yeah, please watch it. Please watch that. Don't even and then if you feel like it, watch Anxious.
We'll have a link to both. You should do we'll do a double feature.
A double feature. That's beautiful for me.
A really nerve-wracking double feature.
Yes, exactly. Wonderful.
No, would it shock you that I had the "I'm Fine Without You" Jim Carrey poster in my my high school my childhood bedroom? It's like the one where like the eyes are ripped off.
That's amazing. I love that.
Good movie.
Good movie. Good show. Great episode. Thank you for joining us, Nida.
Thank you for having me on, and hope to be back.
Yes, you will be for more Montauk.
Montauk, yes.
Montauk. Meet me in Montauk.
Montauk. Meet me. Oh my God. I won't say any more words because we should end on that.
Listeners, meet us in Montauk. Yeah.
Meet us in Montauk.
Montauk. Yes, yeah. Yes.
And be sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps get the word out about the show. Check out patreon.com/AndorksPod, where for just 5 credits per month, you'll get our full Andorks detours, including last week's episode talking about George Lucas's debut film, THX 1138, another film about anxiety and depression in the dystopian hellscape that we live in.
Another movie about 2 forlorn lovers in Long Island.
Yes. You'll also get our main feed episodes 1 month early, meaning there are 4 full episodes of Andorks waiting for you right now. You can also follow Andorks on social media at AndorksPod. Send in your questions about the show to andorkspod@gmail.com. Special thanks to our partisans, Shelby Von Trapp and Bobby Chowdhury, who helped make the show possible. And we'll see you next week for part 2 of season 1, episode 9. Nobody's listening. Later, dorks.
Bye, dorks.